Hello everyone and welcome to this video about JSol'Ex 2.4. So I'm quite happy to introduce this video in English. I actually haven't done that for quite a long time, so usually I do that in French, but I thought that for my English listeners it would be a good idea to show you something more recent. So I'm going to demonstrate a few things of JSol'Ex. The latest release today is JSol'Ex 2.4. And it comes with a number of changes. Let's show that in action. So if you are familiar with JSol'Ex, you know that in the 2.3 series, what was added is something around the spectral line detection. So let's take a recent video that I took. You have the wavelength selection, which is there with auto detect. And what it means is that JSol'Ex is going to try to figure out automatically what you are observing. So in this case, it's an H alpha line. So let's go with the quick mode. And what we're going to see is the solar disk, which is corrected, and H alpha. And if I go there in the logs, you can see that it has detected that it was an H alpha line. And we can confirm that going to the profile and see that we have a couple lines there. So the one in red is actually the actual intensity on my recording, and the orange one is actually a reference one from the BAS2K database. And what we can see is that we have detected this line, but also the wavelengths automatically. So you have all the wavelengths in angstroms. And yeah, so that was in JSol'Ex 2.3. Now you can also go to this tab, which is Gong, there. And something nice is that you can click on this, and it's going to try to download an image from the Gong database at the same time as what you're observing, and it lets you change the orientation of the image. So I could, for example, say that I have something which is flipped, and then I could compare the image and say, oh, okay, actually this is vertically flipped, so let's click on that. And then let's apply the P angle correction, and we see that we're exactly aligned. And then I could click on this button, and then the next file that I'm going to process is going to use this orientation. So you could, yeah, potentially change um, the alignment of the vertical horizontal flips, and also the angles like rotate left and rotate right, depending if you are using a Herschel um, lens or not. So that was for 2.3. And because we have these changes to do the automatic detection, now we can do something actually quite smart regarding the Helium line processing. So let's show that in action again. I'm going to open actually a file that I have processed recently, so this Helium line thing, and I'm not going to do anything special. I'm giving these wavelengths to auto detect, and then I'm going to click on full process this time, and let's see what happens. So you can see that during the reconstruction, what we have there is the classic image that we have when we process helium lines. But now the software has detected that the line that we were observing was the iron line. And close to that, we have the helium line. So actually, it has processed the helium line automatically, and you have nothing to do. You have this image in black and white. You have the process solar disk, so this is actually the iron line, and the helium line image is processed at the same time. Like you have nothing to do, and also you can have the colorized version automatically. So this is doable because basically when we look at the profile, we can compute the shift, the pixel shift from this iron line to the one from helium. So usually before you had to go to this tools menu, go to the spectrum debugger, and then you would open these. and you would click on this log polynomial, then go to the frames, look at the end of the video to be close to the limb. And when we are at this position, you could increase the luminosity or contrast, and then you can see this line appearing there. So this is the helium line. So this is actually the iron line that we're seeing. This is the helium line. And when I clicked, like control click there, you would have to select a number of sample points, and then it would compute automatically the pixel shift for you, right? But now you don't have to do that anymore. Like this is done automatically. So the only thing that you have to do is just go, open a file, select Helium line, go to full process, and then it's going to generate the image for you. There you go. So now I have this, in this time, the Helium line in mono, and also the colorized version. So depending on the image that you have, you could decide that this is not good enough for you, and in this case, you still have the option to use the good old method, which is to use an image made script. So you could go there, go to process, custom process, select image math, and then in the sample scripts, you have something similar, which is a script which is going to do exactly this, right? But you could tweak that for your needs and generate a different image if you want to. So it's still possible, right? It's just that the new version doesn't um, ask you to do that with a script anymore. Like it is fully automatic, right? So I think it's a nice change for people like really going to simplify having some Helium line images in just a few seconds compared to before, like it was much more complicated. Yeah, so this is the main change in this version, but there are also some small changes which I have been requested. So now you have this new menu called Equipment there, and you can go there and you have two submenus. One is this SAG editor, so spectrohalograph editor, and then if you're not using a SolEx but using a different SAG, you can actually add one. Like let's call this one SolEx low resolution, because yeah, in this case that wouldn't be super useful, but you could have something with different grading, different focal lengths, etc. So you can add different editors, different spectroheliographs there. And it is important to have this menu, because if you don't do that, then the computations that you have for the wavelength there are incorrect. They depend on the focal length, they depend on the total angle, they depend on the grading density, etc. So these are super important if you have a different one. So I know that JSol'Ex was being used by people for other spectrographs, like not the SolEx one. So now you have this option to add yours, and once you have done that, actually in the menu when you're going to process there, in observation details, you can choose from the list. So there I have a single one. I could also click on this button. It's going to open the same one. So that's first change. And the second one is that in this window there, observation details, you could have different telescopes. You could have different setups. Like I don't know. In my case, I'm actually using two of them. Like sometimes I'm using a focal reducer, sometimes not, and then the focal length and the aperture are different. Then well, you would have to yeah, input that into the software every time. So now you could click on select there, and then same, you can create multiple entries, and then you just have to select. So you don't have to copy that anymore. So it's just a matter of simplifying the processing for people who have multiple setups. So yeah, again, the menu is available either by clicking on these buttons or directly into the equipment menu there. Yeah, so that's pretty much the yeah, most important changes in version 2.4. So give it a try. I should mention that for this Helium line processing thing, it really depends on the automatic detection. So if you don't have the detection working correctly, it's not going to work. So let's open a new file again. Go to, I don't know, this one, for example. Uh, you have different options there. So you could, instead of going with the auto detect, you could say, actually, the line that I'm having is not the iron one, but it's the sodium one. And then you're going to process, and it's going to do the same. Like it's going to compute the pixel shift automatically. So instead of auto detecting, you can always specify explicitly there. So this is one option. And the second one that you have to be careful is in the observation details, make sure that the pixel size is correct and the binning and the camera are not so important if you're using sharp cap or fire capture because when the capture is going to happen, you're going to have a text file which contains this information about the camera and the binning. So it's going, if the file is present, it's going to set that up for you. If you don't have these text files right with the surf file, then make sure that you have the pixel size set, but also the binning. So again, this is important there for the computation of the profile. Okay, so that's all I had for you today. Thanks for listening, and yeah, cheers, bye.